still going to have at least for 4,400. And if anybody's bummed about the talk, I'll buy it off.
Okay, welcome everyone. If you can't hear, please come forward. There's still room at the front. Come squeeze in. Hopefully you can all hear. Welcome to everyone live streaming. Welcome to the 2025 Optima King of the Hammers presented by Ford Performance. It's been an amazing week of qualifying. You guys have really thrown down, and it's been great to see you out there on the track, tearing up that super technical qualifying track we threw at you. I want to celebrate some pole positions. In the Can-Am UTV Hammers race, in the open class, we had Ronnie Anderson, and he was the overall pole sitter as well for that race. The 4900 Pro Mod class, we have Phil Blurton. In the Pro Stock Turbo, we have Max Gordon. In the Pro Stock NA, we have Jeremy McGrath. And then in the Sportsman Stock, John McKee. Well done to those guys in the UTV race. In the Yokohama Everyman Challenge, in the 4600 stock class, we've got Brad Lovell on the pole there. In the 4500, we've got Dan Wyrick, and 4800 Legends, and overall pole sitter is Sean Ratchke. And then today, the big guys came out and threw down. And Paul Wolf ran the course early, but he set a time to impress, and it held up all the way through Power Hour. So well done, Paul, on the pole sitter for the Race of Kings. I'd like to invite Chappie up here. He wants to address everyone quickly, and then we'll keep moving.
Thanks. I just want to pray for your guys' race in the next few days. Father, we are just so blessed that we get to come out here and play in this desert. And I just pray that we'd all have the wisdom and discernment to go out there to be ambassadors of this desert for all those that are watching and all those spectators that get to see that we can lead by example. And Father, as we race and chase out there, I just pray for your favor upon us on the desert to keep us all safe, regardless of our position on a team, that you would protect us all, and the volunteers as well, and our first responders that will probably be busy the next few days, but we pray that they won't be. And Father, we also just lift up the men and women of our country that make our freedoms possible, our neighbors out here, even in the desert, that we will never forget what they give and are willing to give, so we can have these freedoms and the rights come out here in this land. And we ask all this in Jesus' precious name. Amen.
Thank you, Chappie. King of the Hammers and the Ultra 4 USA Racing Series has a great relationship with our sanctioning body, and I'd like to invite the president of USAC, Jason Smith, up to welcome you all.
Thank you, Ben. Thank you, guys. That doesn't happen very often, by the way. But anyway, welcome everybody. I want to congratulate all of you guys for being here with, as Dave said, the baddest of the bad. I mean, you guys are at the toughest race there is, and you guys make it, and you guys are the ones that put on the show. And so congratulations on being here. Congratulations on everybody that's performed well. The one thing I want to do real quick is I want to recognize Dave and his team. What they've done with this event is totally unbelievable. I wish you guys could all see the behind the scenes. If it's Christina with the Marines, Dana and Marissa with the BLM, the way they work to put this event on is unbelievable. So wish you guys could all see that. I hope Dave does a documentary on that sometime, because you guys would be amazed at what happens. But anyway, I just want to welcome everybody. Thank you all for being here, and we'll be back to talk more about the competition later. Thanks.
Thank you, Jason. I'd like to welcome especially the 4900 youth joining us for the second time annually, and also we've got 2 military class EMC races, so let's give a shout out to those guys. We have over 770 races at King of the Hammers 2025, so it's a great number, great turnout. Thank you all for turning up. It's been amazing, and it's going to keep being amazing as we lead into race week. Some racer notes. For the 3 races this week, the driver of record must start or finish the race to carry any points for the season. The driver that qualified must start the race. All lineups and results will be posted on the Connex box, on the media, down on the stage. We'll try and get lineups for tomorrow out immediately, and they'll also be on the KOH website and emailed to you. LCQ competitors for Race of Kings. If you haven't heard, you are in. You are all in. Welcome to the Race of Kings. Any racer issues, registration, or number questions that are still unresolved, please see the team on your right of the stage near the entry to the short course. We'll have Lily and her team over there for any questions at the end of this meeting. Now, I need to be really serious about this. There is no more pre-running on the course. Pre-running is now closed. The race course is hot for the next 3 days. There is absolutely no pre-running on any of the lap 3 rock trails that we revealed this afternoon. Trackers and transponders. If you haven't already today, you will receive trackers and transponders as part of tech and contingency. If you teched and did contingency today and you did not receive a tracker or a transponder, please come and see us at the end of the meeting. The guys from Yellow Brick and Timing will be here to help you out. If you haven't passed tech, you won't have a tracker or a transponder. You need to resolve your tech issues and then get your tracker and transponder. If you're racing on Friday or Saturday and you don't pass tech and there's a delay, come see us at the Ops Connex. The tracking team and the timing team are right there. We can link you in with them. So again, if you're racing tomorrow in the 4900 race, please see us immediately after this meeting if you have passed tech and not got your tracker and transponder. If you haven't passed tech, you need to immediately see the tech team or you will not be racing in the morning. Okay, outside assistance clarification. I'm going to put my hand up on this one. We drafted it. We got it wrong. I want to make a clarification. The rule for this event will state, competitors can only assist other competitors on the race course in areas their vehicle has already progressed through. Competitors cannot move around the race course with outside assistance unless moving to an approved pit area. I understand this might overlap some of the existing rules. The drivers' meeting supersedes all rules that are previously noted, and I'm clearly telling you this tonight. Assistance includes recovery, winching, and carrying parts or other support that is not related to immediate safety. Each registered entry can only have as many competitors, banded drivers, and co-drivers as there are seats in the vehicle on active race course at any one time. If a race vehicle has 2 seats, then only 2 competitors can be on course at a time. Competitors can help each other and other competitors on other laps in areas their vehicle has progressed through. Lap 3 competitors can receive help from other competitors on any lap in areas of course that overlap, and they can also help each other. If one gets stuck, you can still pull them back, clear the course. If someone is upside down, you can still be sportsman and help another competitor. The clear rule here is you can only assist other competitors on race course in areas their vehicle has already progressed through. So there should not be lap 1 or 2 competitors in any lap 3 areas helping anyone. The only people in lap 3 areas who can help are other lap 3 competitors who have gone through that area already. You can help someone in the same rock trail ahead of you. If you come up behind someone, you can help them. You're in that same area. Is that clear? I apologize for any confusion, and I hope that sets that straight. You can carry it to where you get to. So if you break down before the guy who needs a fuel pump, you can't then walk on with the fuel pump. But if you drive that fuel pump in your vehicle to where that person needs the fuel pump, that's fine. You can carry parts and render assistance wherever your vehicle has progressed to. Okay. Thursday, Friday, and Saturday races. Start and finish instructions. Line up and staging, you're entering through gate 3 at the top of town, the same gate you are using for tech and contingency. Do not shortcut through town. You will not be able to come through the Yukon Arch and through past King. You must exit at gate 4 or 5 if you're in the the area on the lake down here and go right round town and enter through gate 3. 6:30 a.m. All vehicles must be staged. Staging opens at 6 a.m. Check your staging map beforehand. It was included in the driver's pack. This year we've got cones that you park to. The staging guys will tell you your position 22, and you go and look for the cone and you nose up to cone 22. Okay, we're trying to make it really clear and easy this year for you guys to stage. It worked really well in the desert race, and we had a much faster staging than we've ever had before. Be at your vehicle and prepared to move at 7:25 a.m. This is for all competitors all the way through, even if you're number 140. We are moving at 7:25. We need to move quickly and safely out to the short course to prepare for ceremonies. You do not have to have your helmet strapped in. You do not have to be race ready, because you will have the opportunity, if we move fast enough onto the short course, to get out and be part of the opening ceremonies and recognize the anthem. If we don't move fast enough, which is what happened in the desert limited race, the anthem will play while you're still staging and we won't be able to include you. So the faster you guys all move, the better we can make this, the more we can involve you in this show. You will then have time to get strapped in. You are allowed to have one pit banded helper or co-driver banded helper out on the short course. And after the anthem, we will give you a couple of minutes to get strapped in, turn cameras on, do all the stuff to make you safe. One only, with a band. We will then blast a horn. That is the signal that all the helpers need to leave the track, and our team will move through and remove you. We need to have the area sterile before we can start. Is that clear? Pole position for this race is on the right-hand side of the course. You will get the inside to turn 1. Thursday and Friday races, 2 cars off the line every 30 seconds. That's for the UTV and EMC races. Take note, second lap cutoff will be from 1 p.m. plus adjusted start time. If you start at 8:26, your cutoff to go out on lap 2 is 1:26. Pit 2 rock entry. So when you've been around on lap 2 and you've come up aftershock and you enter into the pit 2 area, if you have not arrived there by 4:30 p.m. to start the rest of the rock trails, we are going to cut you off because you will not make it back by 6 o'clock. Okay, so we're giving you several hours, 8.5 hours, to make it round to pit 2 and get into the rocks properly. It'll still be touch and go whether you make it, but we'll give you the chance to do that, okay? So that's to ensure that we can keep everyone safe, that we can get everyone off the marine base at a decent time, that we can get the course workers in before midnight, and we can keep all of you guys safe. The finish line will close at 6 p.m. plus adjusted time. Any of these times are adjusted. So you add your starting time delay behind the leader to these times. So the race will be absolutely closed by about 6:30. At the Saturday Race of Kings, there's 2 off the line every 30 seconds again. You have a third lap cutoff from main pit at 6:30 p.m. You will not be able to start your last lap after 6:30 plus adjusted time. And again, if you haven't headed up to off-ramp out of pit 2 and entered the rock lap, we will cut you off at 8 p.m. because there's no way you're going to drive all of those blue lap 3 trails in less than 2 hours and still make it back in time for the 10 o'clock cutoff. The finish line closes at 10 p.m. plus adjusted time. We give you all the same amount of time on course. So you'll have till 10 p.m. plus your start time. Again, this is to ensure your safety and the safety of the course workers. It is a long day out there. Please, if you arrive at pit 2 heading out into the blue lap at 9:30 p.m., you have no chance of getting back by 10. Let's be real. If you choose to continue for any reason, you are recreating, we will no longer come and get you. And you're on your own out there. If you're out of the race, if you have an issue, if you need recovery, please either have one of your pit crew come and see us at race ops, contact one of the course marshals, or radio us. Okay? It's really good to know you're out of the race because we won't be looking for you at 11 o'clock at night and sending crews out to try and work it out. If you're self-recovering, if your vehicle's broken but you know Once the race is done, you're going to get a trailer out there, winch it on, deal with it. Come and let us know so we don't have to send someone out there to check on the crew that they're okay. Our marshals will probably swing by anyway and check on you, but please communicate with us and let our course workers know that you don't need any help. Course notes. Drivers' meetings are compulsory. Hitting the gap jump is optional. There is a gap jump in the course. You should all know this by now. If anyone hasn't qualified, if you opted out of qualifying, please know, straight off the start finish, there is a gap jump. It's a decent length. You don't have to do it. Please don't do it if you're not comfortable. It is optional. Did anyone not hear that? The gap jump is after the start finish and it is optional. The desert guys had a detour due to wet weather. That's all dried out. So from mile marker 62 to 60, VCP is now back in action. You need to follow the marked race course. A correction to your GPS. We talked about this on Sunday night. VCPs marked 47 and 48 on off-ramp rock trail are actually RCPs. We're not going to reissue the course, but they are RCPs. 50 feet radius applies to that. VCPs are 150-foot radius. VCPs are in the desert. They are snapped to the race course. If you drive the desert course, you will drive right through them. RCPs in the rock trails have a 50-foot radius, and some may be offset from the course to ensure you drive the rocks. You can't always exactly hit the RCP, but you need to be within 50 feet of it. Hopefully you guys have worked that out when you've been pre-running and seen that if you drive the rocks, you will hit the RCPs. Lap 3 for Race of Kings. Hopefully you guys got to see the release this afternoon. Again, it's available from PCI at 12 p.m. on Friday after you've completed tech. Lap 3 will have minimal markings. We are only going to put a couple of markers up where you turn off the lap 2 course. You will need to follow your GPS and hit the RCPs. A note about the course maps. Hopefully by now you guys have had some good time to go pre-running and you've got used to them. We talk about the lap 1 being red, lap 2 being white, and lap 3 being blue. If you've got a Garmin, it imports them all as red. You need to go into the files and change lap 2 to a different color and lap 3 to a different color. That's just how Garmin's are. We can't change that. If you've got a Lawrence, it imports in different colors every single time you import a file, randomly. So if you want it to be red, white, and blue, you can change it. I would suggest with a Lawrence that you don't use white because it's actually really hard to see. So pick a different color like yellow or something that you can see on the GPS. If you've got lead nav or something else, you'll have to seek assistance from them on how to do that. Compliance. There's now some small bits of fencing at the bottom of idle issues. If you follow the GPS line, showing you where to enter from Chocolate Thunder. You can follow the GPS line and exit halfway up. The GPS line exits halfway up. If you choose to drive the rocks all the way up and over, I'm not going to penalize you. It's harder. Okay, so if you want to go up and over the crest, we will not be penalizing there. Laser Nut Alley. We've placed some fences today that allow you to come off the rocks, get sorted out, turn back at the same spot and get back in the rocks. If you get hung up and can't progress, you need to progress through the rocks in Laser Nut Alley. The fences are designed in a way that stop you from driving down beside the rocks, but still give you room to turn. They actually go across the trail, not with it. They don't block you off from exiting the rocks. The stock guys, you have a bypass. We'll talk about that later, but you can drive on the trail to the right. We have positioned a number of flags around the race course in the rock areas, such as the top of Check Me Out, that will be manned and you will be counted through them. If you see 2 teardrops in the rock trails, they will be marking an RCP that you need to drive through. There are no teardrops randomly. There are no tricks, nothing like that. They are only at RCPs, okay? And it's to give you visual guidance so that you can get through them knowing that if you get through those 2 teardrops, you're going to get through the RCP. Okay, I think there's 5 of them around the race course. Pit 2? Who's been out and had a look at Pit 2 and where it is? Okay. Hopefully most of you had a bit of an idea. Pit 2 is on this side, on the Hammertown side of the race course as you drive out there. Okay? So it'll be set up there. They'll set it up nice and long. We'll cover some of the pit rules later in this meeting. But what you need to realize is as you approach Pit 2 on the race course, you essentially cross from right to left or left to right. Okay? So as you come in, with the exception of first lap. First lap, you come in, and you come along there and you then turn right before the pits and you go back out into the cross grain and back towards Hammertown. When you're on second lap or third lap, if you're racing 3 laps, on the beginning of the lap, you'll come in from the right-hand side. You'll go down that straight towards the pit and you'll turn hard left before the pit. You'll run the rocks. You'll come back out, back up the top section again. You'll run down and you'll turn right and you'll head back towards, you'll go to outer limits and spooners after that. Okay, lap 3 is the same. You come in slightly different location on the blue lap, but again, you go down that pit straight towards the pit, and you turn right and head back to Hammertown after you've done the rock lap. Okay? Does that make sense to you all? If you need to access the pit, you go straight ahead. Enter the pits, 25 mile an hour. The USAC guys will run you through the rules there. You pit and you go all the way down, you come back out. There's a stop check exiting the pit. All pit traffic has to give way to race traffic. So they will stop you if they need to. If there's no one coming and it's clear because they've got really good visibility there of incoming traffic, they'll just let you get back on with it and you can resume race pace once you clear the stop area and get on with it. But if they have a car coming down the hill hot, you in the pit will give way. Okay, one more note on lap 3 on the course notes. You are running the whole desert lap, or the whole desert section before the rocks. You do that on the red lap, the first lap, you run the desert section. On the white lap, the second lap, you run the desert section. And on the blue lap, the third lap, you run the desert section, and then the rocks. So every lap has that 66-mile desert section as part of it, plus rocks on the second and third laps. Okay, so for the UTV Hammers Championship 4900 Sportsman Stock class, and for the Everyman Challenge 4600 stock class, not 4500, 4600 stock class, there are bypasses. If you haven't already got the GPS map from PCI of the bypasses, go and get it now. As I mentioned earlier, on Laser Nut Alley, where the fences are, you can bypass the trail to the right. You then have to go up the exit. You can use the right-hand trail, but you must hit the 63, 64, and you must hit, you must hit 64 as you drive up there. Jackhammer Trail. We are bypassing the stock classes around Jackhammer Trail. After RCP 79 and Wrecking Ball, you're going to turn left into Bender Alley, into Jack North, then back on course to the mailbox. This removes the bottom of Wrecking Ball and the entire Jackhammer Trail. For this, RCPs 80, 81, 82, 83, 84, 85, 86, 87, and 88 are turned off. So you will not be scored in stock class on those RCPs. Check me out. In stock class, when you get to check me out at the very top, the course goes between the tier flags where the big boulders are. You can turn right onto the trail that goes around the outside counterclockwise. It'll take you round the top of those big rocks and it'll re-enter downhill to the race course. When you do this, you still must hit RCP 103 and 104. You do not need to drive between the teardrop flags if you're in stock class at the top of Check Me Out. On highways 19 and 20, you can run the burned-in highways. You can run the bypass trails in stock class in highways 19 and 20. 106, 107, 108 are not valid for the RCPs. And then finally, bottom of Spooners. You can run the bypasses around the difficult waterfall at the bottom of Spooners. All other RCPs in Spooners are still active. RCPs 115, 116, 117 are turned off. Now, word of warning. If you're in Everyman Challenge or the UTV Hammers Championship and a stock vehicle passes you, don't follow them on their bypasses. That's not an excuse that you just followed. If you're in a Legends car and you're having some trouble, or maybe you're having a really good day and the stock guys still pass you, Don't follow them on their bypasses. Okay, they're not in the same class. They're all starting behind you. We're separating that class out. So there's no excuse. We will be scoring you on your course. Okay. Are there any questions around bypasses, course compliance, anything like that before we move on? Speak up. Sorry, down here first. You can't do it. Yeah, if you're in 4400, there are no stock bypasses. You signed up for the wrong race. In the highways, you have to be in the rocks. Yeah. There are RCPs. You'll see the RC. Sorry, Chip, that's not fair. You need to hit the RCPs in highways. Okay, that's how we're measuring you. Yep. No, so I'm guessing you probably have a Garmin or something that's the same color lap. Lap 1 does not go down resolution and backdoor. Lap 1 goes back through the saddle below Baldwin's Leap, comes back up the hill like we have last year, I think, or the year before. That's probably something of note as well. Lap 2 goes down back resolution and backdoor, okay? And so does lap 3 if you're in Race of Kings, okay? If you do not want to drive down backdoor, drive down resolution. There's an RCP at the bottom of resolution, top of backdoor. Hit that RCP. Take the bail out up the sand hill. Go down. I will put a barrel on the cross grain to your left. Just like previous years, it will be slower. It will tax you. Go round the barrel, okay, and then head back into backdoor and re-enter the wash as if you're on lap 1, okay? You do not have to go down backdoor. There will be a way to get around. It will penalize you time-wise physically doing it, okay? Yes, over here. We're going to cover that with the USAC guys. The question was missing an RCP. It is 15 minutes. We will cover that again, though. It's 15 minutes. That will be well marked. I'm sending someone out there to check that. I believe there's a fence that points you up there, and we'll triple check that. Justin, can you come up here and clarify that because you've been out there today? The entry to idle issues. Yep, we'll repeat the question. Hold on a second, guys. So they're asking about the entrance at the bottom of idle issues. Once you come down Chocolate Thunder, how do you enter the trail?
You come down Chocolate Thunder, the first entrance, there's an RCP around the big rock. There's a ledge there. There's a 40-foot piece of snow fence there now to scoop you into the first entrance. Is everybody clear on that? The second entrance will bypass the VCP, and it's not in play.
Yeah, so as you come down Chocolate Thunder, look for the short bit of snow fence that points you up the first entrance to idle issues. If you go the second or third entrance to idle issues, you won't hit that RCP that you need to hit. Okay? You cannot run up the outside, obviously. The GPS track goes halfway up and then across. Hit the RCPs in idle issues. Okay, we might hold any more course compliance stuff to the end. We'll just keep this moving. So just think about your questions. Hopefully we answer them before we get to the end. I want to get you guys briefed on the yellow brick transponders, trackers, sorry. And I'll bring up Mike from Yellow Brick to run you through how they work.
Okay, basically today you would have received a yellow brick on your vehicle. We've put it in a position where it's going to work best, so please don't move them. These trackers, obviously satellite, they need to see the sky. Some of the aluminium roofs and so forth, we've had to sort of position them the best we possibly can, so try to leave them where they are. For course compliance this year, we're going to be tracking you at 1-minute intervals. Within that 1-minute packet, we're getting 10 seconds GPS fixes, so we'll know where you are every 10 seconds. If there is a question about it from any competitors, we will download the tracker file, and that's 5 seconds. So basically, every 5 seconds, we know where you are for course compliance. Obviously, Ben's talked about hitting those VCPs and RCPs, so make sure you do. The other job that this tracker has is for your safety. Now, when you're out there, if you do need emergency, and I want to state emergency help, all you have to do is take the tracker out of its pouch, flick up the plastic cover, hold that red button down for 5 seconds. On the screen, there's a nice little countdown. When it hits 0, you can let it go. That will immediately tell race ops and ourselves that you need help very quickly. It's not a breakdown service. Don't push it if you've got a problem, because things happen rapidly when you do push it. So just remember, it's only for emergencies. The other thing is, most of you will know that you can follow the race with the YB Races app. If you don't already have it, it's free to download from any app store. It will allow you to follow your drivers. If you're a pit crew, you follow your drivers out there on the course. One thing is, make sure you've got a good connection. It relies on, obviously, internet. If it's a bit glitchy, it's generally because your connection is not 100%. Other than that, if I'll be over here, if you haven't got one at the end of this, come and see me. If you've got any other questions about it, come and see me, and I'll be standing over there. Any questions? Awesome. Thank you, Ben.
Thanks, Mike. When he says if you haven't got one, that's 4,900. Everyone else will get theirs at Tech and Contingency as they go through tomorrow and Thursday. Same with your timing transponders as well. You'll get them at Tech. Okay, I'd like to invite our USAC team, our race director up. And okay, we're going to have... there we go. You can handle it.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, so not only did I get promoted as president of USAC, but I also got promoted as the able assistant to Liam O'Donnell and Brian Trotter. So feel pretty good. So I'm going to read through these, and then I'm going to have these guys come up, and at the end, if you got questions, we'll address them to them. So going through some of the rules. So there's a 5-minute minimum for missing a VCP. I think Ben touched on that, and a 15-minute minimum for missing an RCP, and a DQ if you do intentional short course. Speeding in the pits and fueling penalties in the pits will be a 5-minute penalty. You can work on the car while fueling if you're in a full protective clothing, and that is required to do fueling with a 6-pound Pressure Pro. I think they all know what you got on there. Yeah. Yeah, your Pressure Pro can be charged to 6 pounds. No additional people are permitted in your pit, so if they're not there for a purpose, please make sure they are not in your pit area. Only crew working on the car are allowed. We will be checking, and we'll be monitoring that. Please keep any children and family in a safe location if they go out to the pits. Everyone in the pits must have a yellow wristband and be a member of USAC. Keep the area clear, and please make sure you pick up after yourself when you do leave the pit area. Chase trucks, when you're on the access roads, make sure you're at a 15-mile-per-hour speed limit. Main pit, when you enter main pit, that is a 25-mile-an-hour pit speed limit when you come off the short course. To pit in the short course area, you must be invited by the garage holder/company. You must exit and re-enter as close to your pit as possible. If pitting in the general section at the end of back door, the wash pit, then re-enter the race course at the beginning of the short course. I know that might not be clear, so we'll clear that up at the end if that does not make sense. You must not drive behind Talladega, so do not go behind the big turn down at the end. Spotters, make sure you are helping to re-enter the race course safely. Hammer heights, as long as it's fenced off, you can pit there. Rules for the pit locations in the general main pit area. Remote pit 2. Pit 2, you must go the full length of the pit. I think Ben covered that, how you'll do the U-turn. We'll have people out there that'll show your crews, so your crews and spotters can help you exit the proper way. We do have a stop check at the pit exit, so make sure you're paying attention for any stop signs there. To fuel, you must have a pit mat. Anyone fueling, again, must have a full fire suit, helmet, and closest to the fueling must wear an apron. If you are working on the car and touching the car, you must be in the full suit, helmet, and head sock with gloves. And if you're not familiar with all those rules, please make sure you read them, and crew members don't get a penalty for your team. Once done with fueling, any car or any of your crew can work on the car without the full gear on. That may not read that exactly like that in the rule book, but we will update that to reflect exactly what we just said there. Also, it is a penalty is 5 minutes per infraction. So if you do have an infraction in the pit area, we will have people in both remote and main pit checking all that. You must have a 20-pound fire extinguisher in your pit, so make sure your crews take that out with them. You can change drivers while fueling. Any help to strap back in, they must be wearing the full gear while the fueling is going on. Trotter and Liam, do we have any questions on the rules? Look, you guys are getting off easy. Somebody come up with something. All right. Okay, so if we don't have any questions, we are going to read a roll call for tonight. We'll do just random per class. So 4,900, Aaron Clark. Brian Deegan. Anthony Thomas. Colin Wagner. Colin Wagner. All right. Terry Madden. Zach Pollard. Zach Pollard. Tyler Gibbs. Travis Zollinger. Travis Zollinger. Not racing. That's why he's not here. Ignacio Arana. Ignacio Arana? Okay. Caden Gamble. Thank you. Okay, that's it for the roll call. Thank you very much. Again, do we have any questions for Brian Trotter? I see none. Yeah.
So the snow fencing has been arranged. The question was, what happens if you hit the snow fencing at the bottom of Laser Nut Alley? Okay, it's been arranged today in a way that stops you progressing along the sand, but it's actually not in a spot that you're going to drive down into it. We're going to have course workers there who, if you drive through the snow fencing willingly, we'll treat it, and everyone hear this, we'll treat it like a missed RCP, 15 minutes. Okay, if you drive through the snow fencing, it's a 15-minute RCP style penalty. Okay? It's not meant to block the area that you need to safely get out of the rocks, get your car realigned, and get back in the rocks. We know you're going to have issues in there. We want you to be able to get out. We've put it in some spots that you wouldn't be driving out of the rocks in. It just stops you driving along the bottom of the sand wash there. If you drive through it, we will have people there, and it'll be a 15-minute penalty. Over here, Chris. In Laser Nut Alley, you must progress through the rocks. If you cannot make it through the rocks, you're allowed to fall out of the rocks, turn around and get back on where you came out and reposition. You cannot be outside of the rocks. That was announced several weeks ago, and we've been consistent with that. We've given you guys a way to get yourselves out of trouble, but you must re-enter the rocks and continue where you came out. The snow fence will not stop you exiting or entering the rocks. It's not fencing the rocks off. It's just putting some barriers across the sand to stop you driving straight down it. When you get there and see it, if you haven't seen it this afternoon, it will make perfect sense. So this is a question about the gap jump. I'm not putting a rule in place about who's right or who's wrong. You guys are professional racers. If you're worried about the guy outside of you knocking you off it, go round it. If you don't have the power to stay clear of him, go round it. I'm not going to put rules on who's got right of way on it because I'll never be able to determine that. If you're worried about the safety of the gap jump, go around the gap jump, please. If you're worried about the safety of any of your competitors around you when you do the gap jump, go around it. It is impossible for me to say that the guy on the right gets right of way. If you have a splutter, if the other guy burns you off the line, he's got right of way on that gap jump, or he's got the right to have a go at that gap jump. Okay? I'm not going to put a rule in, Chuck, that says the guy on the right has the right of way. Okay? So take the under. If you're worried about it, take the under. It's 6 seconds. Okay? I can't be any more clear on this gap jump. If you don't want to take it, if you're worried about it, go under. I'm not forcing anyone to take it. No one here is forcing anyone to take it. If you're worried about it, go under. Because when someone takes you out and I walk up and go, oh, he took you out, that's against the rules. He still took you out. You're still upside down in the gap jump. So I don't know how to make this any clearer to you guys. We tried to make a good show of this, and people didn't turn up to drivers' meetings, and people didn't do briefings, and people didn't pre-run the course. One competitor had an engine issue, and that sucked for him, and I'm really sorry for him. But every other person that's had an issue on this gap jump didn't come to drivers' briefings, didn't watch videos, didn't read things that we'd sent out, didn't read whiteboards that we'd put up at starting and staging. Okay? I cannot help you if you do not turn up to mandatory meetings. I cannot help you if you don't do the things you need to do as professional drivers and guys coming to races this big. Okay? You've all had a chance to look at that. We are starting 2x2 off the line. If you're worried that the guy beside you is faster than you and he's going to take you out on the way up, or the guy beside you is slower, go around it. I cannot be any more clear. Are there any other questions for Brian and Jason and the USAC team? Okay, so that's probably more for me than the USAC guys. He's asked me to explain the first mile of the race. So it starts off just like you started qualifying. You leave the start line, you turn right. You go either around and under the gap jump or over the gap jump, up through the Bronco Arch. Then you go down the back of the Bronco Arch exactly like you did qualifying. And as you go out to the desert, instead of turning left and going up to the rock climb that you went up to today, you go round even tighter around the Means Butte. So exit the Bronco Arch and stay hard left, okay? And you'll track round the back of Means Butte in the really deep channel, okay? So you don't go out in the desert towards where you qualified on the rocks. You turn hard left. That'll take you to the saddle over here behind us that exits Hammertown into the cross grain. You run the cross grain. That is GPS tracked on your GPS file. I ran that, I mapped it. We'll get some extra marking out there tonight to change it from the qualifying course and make sure it's clear. Okay, but again, start line, turn right, take the gap jump or go around the gap jump, up through the Bronco Arch. As you come down the exit of the Bronco Arch, keep going left, hug the mountain tight, all the way left, round the back of Means Butte. Then you'll see the saddle where the race course exits Hammertown. Take that saddle and off you go. Something about the main pit. If you're up near Gomez in that area, okay, you're going to have to exit the short course before the jump, hit your pit. I don't think you have time to get back on unless you're further a bit down. What you need to do is 25 mile an hour across to where the under joins the racetrack again, and when you hit the racetrack again, you can go race pace, okay? If you're up in that Hammertown Heights area, when you get off the short course, it's 25 mile an hour, around to your pit, 25 mile an hour, get back on race course. Jason said we clarify the top pit. I'll try and do that for you now. As you return to Hammertown from any of your laps, 1, 2, or 3, or third lap, you're probably not going to pit. I'd hope you're going to take the finish, and same with 2 lap for tomorrow and Friday. But at the end of lap 1 and for Racer Kings, end of lap 2, you will have the option to pit at Hammertown. If you're not part of one of the garages down the bottom here, the general pits are up above Talladega Corner to where the 8-foot chain link fence finishes. If there's bicycle fence like this, you've gone too far up towards backdoor. That's not pit area. Keep your pits small. You'll come down backdoor wash, okay? You'll come down that sandy wash in the valley. As soon as it opens up, you can exit left. Get your pit, get serviced. you must get back on at the re-entry to the short course, the same spot that you got back on the short course today in qualifying. You may not go round the back of Talladega corner and skip 2 turns of short course, okay? You will get penalized or DQ'd for skipping course. So when you pit, exit left after the backdoor wash, do your pit, get back on racetrack at the start of the short course, do Little Talladega and Big Talladega and across the jump, the tabletop jump. Is that clear for everyone? We've tried to design the course a little bit better this year so that there's no accidental pit miscommunications in where you go. You do not drive behind Talladega at any time of the race course. Got it? Any other questions for USAC or myself at this stage? Got a little bit left to go. Over here, the back over there. Okay, so the question was for the youth, after you hit the tabletop, do you pull off? No. You finish at the finish line. Okay, all starting and finish timing this tomorrow is from the finish line. So you must come through the finish line. We'll exit you towards the Falcon trailer once you've taken the finish. Okay? The youth as well, the Youth 1000, you need to line up with everyone else tomorrow, okay? So go up to gate 3 and come down that way and get into staging like you would as part of the main 4900 race tomorrow. We're not staging on the infield. There was one back here first. The youth guys, yeah, get in line 6:30 because we're moving at 7:20. So we need to get you in order. We've got a couple of hundred UTVs to get in order, so don't be late. This question was, can the youth UTV hit the gap jump? You've come a long way to do this, okay? If you and your parent or adult person who is riding with you really think that's appropriate, I'm not going to stop you. But when you wad it up a 1/10 of a mile into the race, that's your race ended, okay? So have a think about it. You need to really be on it. And there's been a couple of guys land pretty decently and break their cars landing. So if you think it's worth it, well, I'll let you guys decide that, and I'll let the adults that are riding with you decide that as well. I would not recommend it. That gap jump sent 2 people to hospital today, and we're really thankful that they're okay, but they are injured, okay, and things go wrong. Engines cough and splutter off the start line. Engines do weird things. Cars do weird things. Okay, I don't think it's worth it for a youth guy. Make it up in the desert. You'll be fast. Over here. Okay, so the question is, firstly, confirming that the pole is in the right lane on the inside of turn 1. The question is, if you're in the left lane, how do you get to the gap jump or to the bypass? I'd just lift a little bit and let the guy go, okay? And then come back around and get under him. Okay, fight it out. Just be smart off the start line. We don't need any first turn heroes. It's a long race. I'd love to see you guys get out of there clean, please. Respect each other. Be respectful. We've all spent a lot of money to be here and to do what we do, and we've all worked very hard to be here. I know how much goes into it as a racer. Let's not wreck each other off the first corner, please. Okay, radio. We will monitor Ultra 4 Race Ops 1, which is 151-700. Any emergencies, any issues, if you're out of the race, if you need help, we have radio operators on there. We're also monitoring Weatherman 151625, but out here there's a lot of talk on that, and it may be harder. So make sure you have your radio programmed with 151-700. If you call Race Ops and you need your pit crew summoned, please know your radio channel. If it's programmed in your radio as your name or as a generic thing, we won't be able to put it in our radio. So know your 6-digit radio channel. Write it on the roof of your car. Write it near your radio. Write it somewhere. So when you call us, we can help you. Recovery. We have recovery out on course in certain areas. They're there to help you, but you need to help yourself as well. Help each other. Don't touch cars that aren't moving, are moving. Sometimes where you brake, you may be unable to get self-recovered or recovered by your team until the race is over. Be prepared to stay out on course for extended time periods. Carry warm clothes, water, and food. If you brake on the marine base, please have your team contact race ops. We will advise the Marines of your needs and work with them to get you approved to go in on approved roads and access ways, okay? We have to be very careful up there. We have to communicate with them. At race ops, we have direct communication with the Marines, so we can get you where you need to go, and we can advise you how to get there and when you can do it. This year, we are racing on the Marine base all day and all night of the race, okay? So we will be up there. If you're stuck on the far side, you may be up there for a while until we can get a break in race traffic that's safe enough to get you or your recovery crews in or out. So again, take warm clothes, take food, take water, okay? If you have a safety incident in the Marine base, okay, if you have a big crash and you require medical, don't ring your team to come get you. Hit your yellow brick if it's bad enough. We can get there, we can sort it out for you, okay? It's the same for anywhere on the course, but especially on the Marine base. Is Dana from BLM here tonight? No, okay. So from the BLM, this is a special recreation permitted through the BLM for Hammer King Productions. Both the BLM and KOH have numerous monitors throughout the race course, making sure your race is safe. So please respect that effort. BLM are here for you to have a safe race all round. And please be aware of the desert tortoise and respect the desert. If your crew need to recover you, they need to work with our course workers. We had a lot of incursions in the desert race where people were just pushing down fences and trying to get places. We will get shut down if we can't keep our fence lines up. If it's spectators, crews, you know, it's a serious issue. So please, educate your crews. They can't just run out and help you. They can't get out on course. They can't go through any fences. Those fences are there to keep people safe. Without them, we cannot run the race. They are very important. Did you have anything else to say? Okay, yep, I can handle that. Transponders and trackers. If you make the finish, we'll try and take them off for you as you finish. If you don't make the finish and you get recovered, please send them to the race ops Connex. Media, there's a box there, or bring them to, just to those two spots, please, okay, or to any of the transponder or tracker staff at the finish line, okay? So please, you will have a deposit on some of them, and if you don't return them, you will be charged. Please get them back to us. We do need them for later races. The transponders that use the Lawrence pucks, we are putting them on certain vehicles. Based on the availability of them, we'll be contacting you. We are still prototyping and getting this out there. It's going to be really cool technology, and we will have them on a large number of 4400s, and we may have them on some other cars. So we'll be in touch on that during tech and contingency. Okay, I'm going to open up to questions. Straight ahead. There are winch points on Jack. There's a number of them. The Warn crew have been out. The Warn crew have been amazing. They've gone out and set up some preset winch points throughout some of the rock trails. Okay, so I know there's at least one, if not more, on Jack. Any other questions? Yep. If you haven't seen them already, we'll get them up on the doors of the media tent tonight following this meeting. They've been a random draw, and I'll get that out to you guys tonight if it hasn't gone up already. The guys that line up will have your start positions as well, so they can sort you out. Down the back. Yeah, so the question from down the back, if there is not markings or flags in the canyons, you're racing VCP to VCP no matter how you get to it. That was the question. I can only police you at the RCPs. The flags are only at the RCPs, except for the snow fence at the bottom of Lazernut Alley. We've had several talks about these trails and treating them with respect and not burning in highways. Hit the RCPs, drive the hard rocks where the RCPs are. Stay in the trails as much as you can. Enjoy the race, enjoy the rocks, enjoy how hard lap 3 will be. But we will be policing you at the RCPs. The flags that you drive between are at RCPs to ensure you go through the RCPs and give you a visual at a couple of the ones that are tighter. There's no other tricks. Does that set that clear? Thank you. Eric? The RCPs are 50 feet from center of the RCP. Yes. We've never had RCPs in the rocks before. So you don't have to hit the center of the RCP. You need to be within 50 feet of the RCP. So where there's a trail on the right, we've set an RCP 30 feet to the left, which gives you 20 feet of race course to use. Okay? That keeps you off the rock, the dirt burned in trail that might be 30 feet to the right. That is why these RCPs are offset. We haven't used RCPs in the rocks before, but we have the technology to do it, and we want to really drive the compliance in these rocks. So you need to be within 50 feet of the center of the RCP. You don't have to hit the center of the RCP. Some of them you physically will not. So don't drive up the canyon walls trying to hit it, but they will form you into there. Sorry, Eric? That's correct. Yes, we're only policing you at the RCPs. Yes. Okay, so from the desert race, in the desert race, we turned off a VCP in the desert between miles 60 and 62. It is back on for this race, and I believe it is, it is VCP 29. So you will run the course as the GPS shows it as it is marked. It was just, we diverted them across away from a mud pit. It's dried out now. You guys have all tracked it down. It's all nice, hard race course, so it's safe to race. Any other questions? Over here, Bailey. So it's 50 feet either side. You can't then drive way out. So sorry, Eric, I wasn't clear. There's 50 feet is the standing rule, right? 50 feet either side of the racetrack in the rocks. Where the RCPs are, we're tightening you up. Okay, sorry. It's new to me as well. We're not scoring you off the Lawrence packs. We're only scoring you off the yellow bricks. Yes, we can pull that data. Yes. We've always looked for that, and we will look for that. We will continue to look for that. Yes. Yes, if you're more than 50 feet either way on the trail in the rocks, if you're running a road that's 200 feet to the right, you are not on the trail. You are not on the marked race course. Okay? And we will continue to look for that compliance-wise. Sorry. Yes, but there's lots of burned-in trails within 50 feet. So if they're within 50 feet, yes. Yes. And usually that means there's a road that runs up parallel to the rock trail, but not even in the rock trail. Remember, you must be in the rock trails. So when there's burned-in side bits in the rock trails and there's no RCPs, you do what you want to do there. If there's a road 80 feet up on the top that parallels the rock trail that's marked, you can't be 80 feet up on the top. You must be in the rock trail 50 feet each way. You must be in the rock trail. The RCPs make it tighter. Yeah, 50 feet from the line, yes, yes. Any other questions? Yes? So the question is about the VCPs is a 150-foot radius or from the center line. The VCPs are snapped to the race course, so it's the same thing, okay? So the VCPs, and I've driven it and tested it in the desert, they sit on the racetrack, so you've got to be within 150 feet either way to hit that VCP, okay? So if you drive the line or within, however far, 1 car width each side, you'll hit it easy. If you're 2 or 3 car widths over, you'll probably still hit it. If you're 7 car widths over, or if you're driving a line that some of the desert guys have burned in, or some of you guys have burned in when you're pre-running, that parallels our racetrack but is 300 feet away, you won't hit the VCP. Okay? There are lines out there where people have just burned them in and they're completely incorrect. So be watching, get your co-driver on it, and stay accurate. Any other questions? I can work that out. It's about 50 meters. Anyone else? Okay. If you have any more questions, I'll stay around after the meeting. Please be safe. Please enjoy it. Enjoy your King of the Hammers. It's an amazing experience. I hope to greet a lot of you at the finish line. I think it's going to be pretty tough on Saturday. So you guys, you're going to be awesome, but it's going to be a great race. Enjoy it. Have fun. Come see us if you have any registration, yellow brick, transponder issues right now. And have a great race.